Welcome, everyone. It is such a great honor to have the Shay Man on today's show. We've actually worked together for the last year, and I was so excited when Shay said yes, because your journey, brother, has just been such a profound one to witness and to hear about where you started and how you've birthed and created this incredible vision and mission that you have at the moment. So, how are you to start with?
Oh, wow. Thank you so much, Laura. This is going to be really fun. I'm really excited to have this conversation, and I'm going really well, actually. Yeah, lots of things are moving in life and coming close to the festive season. There's heaps happening. So yeah, I'm really grateful and yeah, excited to be here.
Yes, and it's so great to have you on. I feel like you're probably one of the best people in terms of like bringing communities together and creating consciousness alongside a couple of other communities that you work with. So I really wanted to bring you on today to share on where your journey started, how you created your vision, and how you actually started to bring it to life. Because I think a lot of people watching this as well will be having these amazing visions and these purposes that they want to live out, but sometimes they sit in that fear barrier of where do I start? How do I get started? And is this going to work for me? So, how did it come to be with your amazing company now, Earth Heroes? If no one's heard of it before, it's an incredible business that you should follow. But how did you come up with the vision to begin with?
Yeah, thank you. That's really kind words to say, and it definitely resonates. Like I really feel, particularly with the, connecting community, and I am quite diverse in my scope and who I'm kind of connected with, and obviously grateful to be connected with you through various communities. So it's so awesome how it works, the world. But essentially Earth Heroes TV, yeah, it's been roughly around a 4-year project essentially, but it started way before that. And I want to share something that no one knows. This is probably who's listening to it. Many people do know this, but I don't think I've ever
I'm the
shared this
first
with.
to know.
Yeah, you're gonna be the first one. Oh my god. But it has to do with Netflix, and maybe you know this or not, but I was featured as the primary focus in a Netflix film called Liberated when I was in my early 20s, living in the United States. And it was a film about sex and spring break and crazy wild party times in the United States. And I was living over there. And this is just relevant context to give you scope as to why and how the vision and mission came to be, because I was what I call young, dumb, and full of cum in my early 20s.
Tagline.
Yeah, but
That's what we should have called the interview. I'm going to change it now.
yeah, definitely. I had a lot to learn, and I was still very much psychologically and intellectually playing out a lot of boyish behaviors, old patterns from my upbringing, or what I witnessed in my family circles, and also what was immediate in my social environment. And that was a lot of mischief and promiscuity and silly boyish behaviors. And upon the release of that film, 5 years after it was filmed, I was going through my own alchemical process of transformation and healing. A lot of, as I was coming into more awareness of, realizing that I have no idea who I am or what I'm doing here, what my mission is, or what my purpose is, or any of these things. I was, very lost, let's say. And not to say that I'm fully found now. However, it began the journey of discovering, why I am here. I'm alive, I'm breathing, and actually, who am I? All of these deep, more existential questions. And a big part of that journey for me was, realizing through documentary format and storytelling how powerful it had impacted my life, and how much I had, sometimes when you're at home and you're like watching this crazy documentary that you found, and then suddenly like, you change your whole life because of it, sort of thing.
Yeah.
It was like well, probably many of the viewers also had that kind of experience, and I definitely did. And then I felt really like called to realize how powerful this story format can be for people. So that's when the birth of the first film that we created called The Regeneration, which is a documentary that was aiming to inspire positive change in the world, came about. And then the platform, Earth Heroes TV. So yeah, it's been really, really fun kind of journey. Let's say that's just a quick little snapshot of some of the highlights in that process, I guess.
That is incredible. And no, I didn't know that about you. That's the funniest thing I've ever heard. Because I've known you for like post travel and post like your becoming and your maturity phase. And I feel like we all go through that wild phase of, you know, we're just mischievous and we play up a lot and we're just curious about everything with a sense of immaturity as well. So to hear that is just so refreshing because you're this incredibly conscious being now, that just is doing so many amazing things. So it's great to hear actually where your journey started is also, and to see where it's actually led you, because what you're doing now and the people that you're connected with and the stories that you breathe to life are so incredibly impactful and powerful. And I've never actually heard yours, so this is really great.
Yeah,
And
thank you.
yeah, no, thank you.
If you
And
want to watch the
to
movie, by the way,
I
you
do.
could, yeah.
That was my next question.
Oh my God, you're gonna laugh so hard when you watch it. It's so funny.
Oh God. I've seen some photos of you like from ages ago. I'm like, who is this guy? You don't even
Yeah,
look like the same person. It's great.
yeah, yeah. It's cool. So it's still on Netflix actually. It's called Liberated, the
Yeah.
new sexual revolution.
I love that so much.
Yeah.
It's so great. And I guess like in birthing, like going from that and then birthing the incredible community and business you've created now, like what were some of the potential setbacks or the barriers that could have potentially stopped you, but you embraced that and decided to overcome them?
That's a really great question, because oftentimes when people have these, discussions about their success or their journey, you know, they often miss, the hardship that
Yeah.
comes with, the process of transformation or creation, essentially. And it's looks different for all of us, but essentially, I believe that we all go through some level of, difficulty and challenge, and that really invites us to overcome that within ourselves, and it really adds to the depth of the creation and the experience, right? And I believe our most beautiful piece of art, yeah, it's great that this platform is birthed and it's doing really well, and we create businesses that is somewhat our, sometimes our babies, because we really care for it and nurture it and take it with us on this journey. But I believe our greatest creation is our life and through our lifestyle. And so for me, one of the biggest challenges that I had to, overcome and jump over the hurdle of, to be able to have a clear vision for this platform to come about, was when that movie was being released. Because I had, as you'll see in the movie, I'm very egotistical and stuck in my own, machoism and bravado, and I think I'm all the best shit,
I
I think
can't
I'm
imagine this Shay, by the way. Like
top
this
dog,
just
really
sounds so
confident and
foreign.
all this. It's so funny. It's hilarious.
So
And it's
foreign.
it's all a part of me, it's all somewhat of a show. It's an expression of the insecurities, and it's an expression of a sense of lack and scarcity that I have to be so, outwardly to attract something, because I'm gripping on so tight, because I don't have that wholeness and that fulfillment within myself. And when it was being released to the world, I was very afraid. I was, really embarrassed, because I had seen the movie and my hands went like this. Oh my God. Shame. I was so shamed of my actions. And suddenly this was going to be, I had no choice, and it was going to be posted to the world on Netflix. Oh my God. Crazy.
Now
And
it's going
so,
to be shared from here and everyone's going to watch
yeah,
it.
exactly.
I love it.
And that really propelled me into a path of forgiveness, and
Mm.
compassion and really reconciliation with myself and with those who I was with, and you know, the experiences that I had. So it opened a lot of space for me to really reflect on life and to really reflect on what it means to be human and be alive in this world, and what's the responsibility that it takes to really have that sincere kind of sacred reverence towards life itself. And it's a very deep topic, but prior to this release of the film, I hadn't considered really much of this in my life. I was, again, very egocentric and stuck in my own story of myself, not realizing there's so much more going on in the world. And so amidst that process, yeah, the inspiration came through of what can I do to serve, and how can I give back, and how can I really create something that is going to have a huge impact on the world, which was through, you know, the internet today, and through videos and through stories. And you know, just have a crack at creating something that can really have a beautiful positive impact.
That's incredible. And I've seen so many of your interviews from working with you the last year. And it's just, I think stories is such a powerful thing as well, because
Yeah.
the sense of vulnerability that you're bringing up as well, of that like fear of shame coming up, or judgment or rejection from, if people see the side of me, like how will I be deemed in the world as well? When we actually speak into that, there is so much more power behind the vulnerability than there is hiding behind the mask of, oh my God, how is this going to play out in my life? So I love that you're speaking into that, because so many of your interviews now are people expressing those deepest parts of themselves, that helps other people who are listening in, that are in the state of fear or shame, to go, oh my God, I'm human. There are other people in the world that have experienced something similar or very familiar to this. And now I can start to own it. And now I can start to accept those parts of myself so much more than I was before. So I love that. And I'd also love to ask you, because you have come along such a profoundly beautiful journey, and most people would look at you now going, oh my God, like that you're so much further ahead than where some people are probably still sitting going, you know, that seems so far out of my reach right now. Is what are some of the challenges that you're facing at the moment? Because for me, looking at you, I'm like, oh my God, you got it so together and you're so successful. But is there anything in the present moment that you're like, wow, this is bringing up a sense of fear, or this is something that I'm desiring to overcome?
Another great question. And bringing it back to the present moment, definitely, it's, although it seems nice to talk about, yeah, transformational process that we've all been going through or been through, it doesn't exempt us from, you know, the next big challenge or the next
Right.
big hurdle that's, you know, waiting for us around the corner. And yeah, this is a really great topic, because at this moment, I really feel that I'm being initiated into a really next level transitional transformation change moment, which is really exciting. And there's always underlying all of that the fear of the unknown and the uncertainty of what's coming next.
Yeah.
And what I've come to realize in just observing life, and observing, when I talk about life, I mean human life, and I mean plant life and animal life, and all of life, the elements of our lives, that it just functions so beautifully in patterns, you know, that we have these patterns that repeat essentially. And even you know, the formation of the universe essentially works in this spiral dynamic, where things, you know, come and go like a wave, up and down. It comes in and it goes out. And these challenges act in very similar kind of ways, and through different rhythms and patterns. And so my biggest challenge now is having the confidence in myself and in my decisions and in my intuition and vision moving forward, to trust and have faith that the actionable steps moving forward are going to benefit not just myself, but those in my community and those that I love the most. And that looks like more self-sovereignty, meaning in the word sovereign, if you really look at the spelling and the etymology, we have reign, and reign is to essentially be the king or queen, god or goddess of our own manifested reality, our own world. And my practice is to really daily, momentarily be empowered to empower others to realize, some of these deeper fundamental truths of our nature, of our being, of our existence. And it's always nice to, consider these really very powerful notions, but to actually grasp that into our everyday lives means that I have to be extremely responsible, which is, in the words again, our ability to respond to the circumstances that arises, which means, for example, the hardship, the tough times, the challenges, and taking responsibility so that I can realize my role with how potentially I've created this consciously or unconsciously, and to, relish in those moments and accept and have gratitude that is coming up, because it's presenting an opportunity for growth and for me to expand and have more character and more resilience, and an ability to be able to have more compassion for myself. And then also I can see that in others now. I can actually connect more deeply to other people's situation and circumstances when I hear these stories that you're sharing and speaking of, and I can go, wow, like I can hold my heart and just go, I feel that too, because I have I've been to some level to that similar degree in that similar experience. So yeah, I guess my biggest challenge now is I'm kind of like fairly informed with the current state of the world, and I feel a sense of duty to supporting the awakening process, which I feel is just inevitable whether I do anything or not anyway, based on the squeeze that we're feeling on a larger planetary level of this, kind of old way of living and being that is gripping for a sense of power and control. And my solution to that is to continually learn more deeper layers of who I am and knowing myself, which I think is a wonderful quest for everyone to go on. But then pulling community in together so that we can have more resilience, because one person, who knows himself is wonderful, but what if, 150 people in a community all feel empowered to move forward, and having more localized solutions. And I'm not necessarily a doomsday prepper. However, I do feel like on a larger social level, we might experience some hardship that they may challenge many people. I mean, even in the last 2 years, you could definitely probably agree with me that we've seen some radical shifts in our social, environmental, and societal structures. And I sense that there's going to be more to come.
Yeah, that was so beautifully spoken. I feel like lost for words myself hearing what you just shared. And I think the greatest piece of all of that is awareness.
Mm-hmm.
Like when we talk about doomsday, like I definitely don't have a zombie like apocalypse plan yet. I actually didn't even know that I should. I was talking to my family the other day and they're like, oh yeah, we've got plans. And I was like, I don't have plans. I need to like follow someone real quick if that stuff starts to happen. But I feel that the part of that is awareness. Mm-hmm. And when we speak, like exactly what you're doing, you're sharing stories and you're sharing on platforms with various people, that's like the greatest form of connection. Mm-hmm. As well. That yes, when you tell one person or you're helping one person, empower themselves, it only goes so far. But when we start to help one person empower themselves to then empower others or empower communities, we're starting to create a ripple effect. So it's so incredibly powerful what you're doing, and it's so beautiful to witness. And I'd love to ask you before we wrap up as well. I actually have 2 questions for you.
Cool.
Is what are you most excited about? And what's next on the journey for you?
Oh, what makes me most excited is I just love people. I spent only this year I moved down to the Sunshine Coast, but prior to that I was living in a remote region in North Queensland on a healing sanctuary where I was somewhat isolated from, and I had a lot of time for stillness and reflection and time by myself. And I just realized, like, wow, I just love people, I love being around people. And even though we're all so different and so unique and we all got our own shit and our own baggage and our own stuff that we carry around with us and so forth, our own journeys and life stories, I just like the diversity and the energy that people bring. Like you, for example, it's just such a light energy, so excited, so much enthusiasm for life. Like that's what I just love seeing. And I love because then it's like makes me uplifted and excited, and it just brings a lot of joy to my life. And I see that a lot in younglings, and I've got a niece and a nephew now, and like just being in their proximity, it like gives me energy, because they're just like so curious, and they're just so intuitive, and they're just such good fun to be around. And so that really lights me up and makes me excited. And with that, like moving forward, it's not in my immediate plans, but within the next 10 years, like I would really love to be a father myself and start a family. And that's definitely something that I really want to intend and really want to create, and make me really, really fun, I think.
Yes, I love that. And I think, oh, it's so beautiful. And thank you for sharing. Kids are literally the gateway for that level of, sometimes as adults, I find we take ourselves so seriously, like everything becomes so logical and planned out. And I think there's a purpose behind that, absolutely. And alongside that is the curiosity part and the play and the fun and the excitement. And I absolutely agree with you. Like, yes, I've always had those kind of traits. But I catch myself as well getting stuck in the seriousness of life versus when we're coming from a state of curiosity, the same way that kids do, is that we're not attached to things as much, and we can start to see bigger pictures, or things aren't so black and white. And I think that's where magic takes place, and that's where we can start to really create from a place of abundance. And the world's really our oyster. I think the world is a huge, beautiful playground that we get to play on even as adults. So I love that you've shared that, and you are going to make such an incredible father. So I'm so glad that that is your path and that is your mission in life. And I can't wait for that to happen and be a witness to that as well. So
Thank you.
I just want to say before we wrap up as well, thank you so much for everything you've been. Thank you for everything you are. And thank you for everything you're becoming. And thank you for the last year that I've had the privilege of working with you. And I'm sure there'll be things that we do together down the track as well, because I love who you are and I love your mission. So thank you for making the time for today. And I'm excited to share your story and also share your Netflix documentary with everyone. You need to create a new one, Shay, of like, instead of young, what was it? Young, dumb, and full of calm. What could it be? Like mature, responsible, and I don't know, something else.
Yeah, definitely. It's on the cards, that's for sure. But I
Season
just
2.
season 2, the follow-up. No, I appreciate everything that you are, and I also hope for the same, that we can create magic moving forward together as well. So
Definitely.
so exciting. Thank you so much. You're an
You're
amazing
so
human being, and
welcome.
it's an absolute pleasure.
Likewise. Big love, brother.
Bye.